Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. I turn to my right and I see a member of the Bleacher Report family. The synergy is so strong. You just feel it in this room right now. It's all over the place. We're on brlive.com and Taylor Rooks, Take It There, premiered last night on the Bleacher Report social networks, YouTube and bleacherreport.com. Good to see you, Taylor Rooks.
Good to see you. And yes, I feel it in the air.
The synergy. The synergy's in the air. As a matter of fact, you're dressed in a blue suit. It's similar to the color scheme of the Rich Eisen Show. I don't know if you did that on purpose.
I didn't do it on purpose, but I'm going to say that I did.
Well done. It's all part of the branding. Part of the branding. Congrats on your show.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled. I'm happy with how it's been going so far.
Okay, yeah, Jimmy Butler was first up last night.
He was.
And he's no wallflower, Jimmy Butler. He'll tell you what. It's interesting. He said on your show that he almost quit basketball in college.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you from him?
It did, because I actually didn't think that when I asked him the status that he's been, that he would give me a moment. Because a lot of the times people just don't really want to open up and give you that time. But he talked a lot about therapy and how he thought basketball wasn't for him, and he didn't know what it was like to be away from home. And that vulnerability you don't get to see a lot of the time with athletes. So I was very appreciative that he decided to really talk about that.
Well, he's got to know what the name of the title of the show is.
Exactly. I'm going to ask.
You went there.
Yeah.
You took it there.
I did.
I
did.
And he is, do you think, based on your conversation with him, do you think he's going to be a Philadelphia 76er for a long time? What are your thoughts on that?
This isn't even just like based off of our conversation. Just when I think about where I think he'll be, I don't think that he's going to be a Sixer. Not because of anything he said, but just what it seems like Jimmy wants out of life.
What does he want? Does he want to be a Clipper? Does he want to be a Laker? What does he want to be?
And as cliche as this sounds, like he just wants happiness. And happiness to him is just being around his friends and like where they want to be. Like, when he's deciding where to go, they're genuinely going to sit at a table. He's going to say the different teams that want him, and it's going to be like, where do you guys want to live? That's seriously how he's going to make that decision. It's like where everybody that lives with him wants to be the happiest at. I don't know where that is, and I asked him, like, what does happiness look like for you then? And he specifically said, it's where my friends want to be.
Well, it's definitely not Minnesota. We know that. It's just interesting that you bring this up in that regard, and that he did as well. It's just fine. I don't know. It just seems more and more difficult to determine what an athlete does consider making him or her happy.
Yeah.
Certainly in the NFL, we just saw Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh, where clearly he's also known league-wide as the best wide receiver. And he was talking about disrespect. And a lot of people view that as he didn't get any more guaranteed dollars from the Steelers on the table. That made him unhappy, and now he's very happy in Oakland, California.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Another one is Odell Beckham as well. Unhappy here. His statements in his first press conference with Cleveland just landed with me, knowing that the Giants would have killed to have heard that out of his mouth when he was here in New York City.
For sure. The thing about Odell, though, and I have always kind of said this, is it just reached a point where Odell couldn't be a Giant any longer. And I think that he was, not that he was necessarily happy to be going to Cleveland, but he was happy to have a clean slate at a place where he felt like he was going to have new management and new teammates, and just be in a place where he felt maybe more comfortable, where he could be himself.
Why is that? I mean, again, you covered New York sports for SNY before joining Bleacher Report. You've interviewed Odell. You know him. Why could it not work in New York City for Odell?
In some ways, I just think people decided who Odell was. And when people decide who you're going to be, it's very hard to get out of that box. So if everyone thinks that like Odell is a diva that always wants attention and is always like running around the field and like being this an extra human being, he could go 5 games and not do that. But since he already did it once, he's going to be that to you forever. And especially in New York, it's very hard to get out of a perception that anybody has for you. So he can go to Cleveland, and now he's Cleveland Odell, and he's no longer New York Odell. And I think that it was the best thing, and I just hope that he gets to Cleveland and he goes off and he ends up being this best wide receiver that we all think that he is. But I think it's been really challenging for him to know that some people don't see him as that based on things that happened surrounding the game, if that makes sense.
It does, although you just wish, obviously for Giants fans who adored number 13 and for people who got to meet him out and about in the community here in the New York City metropolitan area.
Great.
I know that whoever put in his mind whatever box he was put in, that he couldn't get out of it.
I
here in
also
New York.
think, granted, the New York media is unlike anything I have ever experienced. I mean, people would always say that, but then when I moved here, it's like if you do one thing, it's everywhere. And when Odell did do certain things, sometimes
Like
I
propose
think
to a
it was
kicking net, you
yeah,
mean? Okay.
exactly. It sticks with you forever, and it was kind of blown up. Whereas we think it's funny, it became this thing of like, look at Odell having his antics on the sideline. And in New York, it's just, it'll eat you alive. One of the people that I have coming up this season on the show is Saquon Barkley, and we talk about that. He's like, I feel very fortunate that I don't have any negative, articles about me right now, but he's like, it's bound to happen in New York. One day there is going to be something bad about me. Something bad will happen, and I'm going to have to deal with that. And I think that's what athletes think all the time when they come to the big city.
I could not imagine one bad thing about Saquon.
Right?
Me neither.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's just a stand-up dude.
I have nothing but a man crush on Saquon, but he knows that.
No, you told him.
Did I tell him?
You
that?
did.
Yeah.
No, you told him that. Yeah, straight up at the Super Bowl.
That's great.
Just and I think too, Taylor Rooks here on the Rich Eisen Show, take it there on the entire Bleacher Report platform, social, YouTube, and .com here on the Rich Eisen Show, is that you just bringing I guess everything that we're talking about right here. So you've got Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham in these spots where they have been only their entire career, and they feel like maybe they've been put in a box, to use your phrase.
Yeah.
And they are feeling like they need a change, or deep down they feel like a change is needed. And part of what's being brought onto it, too, is you've got two young guys who don't have that so-called baggage or box in Juju Smith-Schuster and Saquon.
True.
And management are sitting there going, okay, so this is what drama-free generational talent looks like, and let's go there, even though it might cause a huge problem with our fan base to just send these elite people packing.
For sure. And that's what I think is really interesting, just also with the way that we view athletes in general. Like, I always think about when Saquon was about to be drafted, and we would always talk about Baker Mayfield too, right? And it was always like, some people almost made Saquon like the anti-Baker. Like, Baker's in your face. He's talking all the time. He knows how good he is. But Saquon was this person who was good but was humble and to never really talk about it. But I always wonder why we prefer one of those over the other. Like, I don't get what's wrong with being out there and knowing that you're really, really good and talking about it and having this personality that is also lasting off of the field. And I think that for some management, they like to feel like football is your life and it's only the thing that you do, and we're not going to know anything else about you. But I prefer like that other personality.
Well, the thing that drives me nuts every year at the Combine is we hear about somebody who's some kid, I forget his name right now, to be honest with you, but I think he played for Notre Dame, and he's a brilliant kid, reads a lot, reads magazines, is into politics, is into a lot of things, and you're wondering about his commitment to football. And it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, there's more. Like, I know we're talking about the three F's: faith, family, and football. Jerry Tillery, our my producer, Evan, just came and chimed in from LABC. Yeah, I mean, I know about the three F's: faith, family, football. I get it. But there's more to life. And that's what I prefer to have somebody who is more than just about the sport. But then again, I'm not in a locker room with these guys. I'm not also paying them millions of dollars, and I don't have that tunnel vision that's forced upon me on that
But
front.
very rarely, like, do you hear the teammates calling the other teammate a distraction? It's always people that aren't in the locker room. Like, everyone said Odell's a distraction, but everyone on the team's like, I love playing with Odell.
I still don't
So
know
did we make that up? Or is,
I kind of like we're bringing this whole full circle. Is that, I did not hear that he was a distraction in the locker room either. But I also just heard it was just a constant grind with him.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means. And then I hear you say that he felt like he was viewed in a certain way that he could never escape here in New York. And I'm just wondering if they had won that one playoff game after the boat trip in Green Bay.
That boat trip.
No,
my goodness.
No, I'm just saying that's the boat trip might be the box that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Okay. And that if they had won that playoff game in Green Bay.
Yeah. Well, winning
That
cures everything.
he would still be a New York Giant today.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. Winning cures everything, and I don't know if he would have been judged so harshly if they were also going to the playoffs, winning the playoff games.
Right.
Like, but that's not what happened. And so we'll never really know.
Taylor Rooks here on the Rich Eisen Show. Also, you sit down with Damian Lillard, who I love him too.
Yeah.
He gets no run, 0 run.
He gets none, and we talk about it. I'm very excited about that episode.
Why is that, do you think?
I mean, he attributes a lot of it to the fact that he plays in Portland. But I don't want to give too much of the episode away. But the thing that is really sticks out to me about Damian's episode is him talking about what loyalty means to him. And why it's so important to him to stay in Portland, and how it has nothing to do with like the city of Portland or even like the management. It's the teammates. Like it's the people that he's around. He's like, people always say that I'm this really loyal player and this real guy, but I just want to stick up for the people that have always sticked up for me. And he gets really introspective about just how being in Oakland made him that way, and things that he saw growing up, and how he views the world differently than most NBA players because of how he was raised. He's really, really good, but he's certainly underappreciated. I remember I interviewed Dwayne Wade once, and he said the most underappreciated players in the league were Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, and I think he's right about that.
Who are the guys or ladies that you want to book on your show that you haven't yet?
I love Serena Williams. I mean, everyone loves Serena, but like that's my dream interview is Serena.
Why?
I love everything that she embodies. Like, she truly is the greatest. And that's someone else that I think sometimes we try to put in a box. We call her the greatest female athlete or one of the greatest athletes. But, like, she is the greatest at so many things. She excels at so many different things, whether it's being a tennis player, being a wife, being a mother. Like, she takes that mantra of being great to everything in her life. And I love, obviously, her HBO show that she did. But it always sticks out to me. She's like on the treadmill and she is talking to her trainer, Patrick. And she was having a rough training day, and he's talking to her and he goes, tomorrow you give your all. And she said, I give my all every day. And he said, yeah, but I'm not talking about the present, I'm talking about tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And then she just goes on to say, like, it doesn't really matter if I was good yesterday or the day before, like it only matters if I'm also good tomorrow. And I just always think about that. She just really uses that lesson through everything in her life, and she's just the perfect role model for everyone.
Well, I mean, and certainly with what her life is today, I remember, being on SportsCenter when she started.
Yeah.
And it was all about her sister. And then it was like, that's Venus has a younger sister, huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what she can do, because she can't be Venus. I mean, Venus Williams was Venus Williams. Mm-hmm. And that's how Serena was born into the sports world. Mm-hmm. And now what she has become, she's eclipsed everybody. And it really is remarkable.
Yeah.
To start from that was basically what it was. She was an afterthought, because it was about Venus and Richard Williams. Mm-hmm. And then the whole concept was, oh, by the way, there's another one to come through.
Yeah.
In the same way that we talk about the Manning brothers, and what she's been able to do is just unbelievable.
For sure. And I just feel like people have such like a personal and emotional connection to Serena that like makes you appreciate her. Is you feel like you know her. Obviously you don't, but I watch her and sometimes I want to cry.
Right.
Just the passion that she shows like when she's playing tennis is really moving to me. So one day I'll interview Serena.
Okay, that'll be good. And we'll look forward to seeing that again on Take It There with Taylor Rooks on the Bleacher Report platforms, plural, bleacherreport.com, social, and YouTube. Great to see you here.
Yes,
let us
thank
know when
you
you're
for
in Los
having me.
Angeles. We'll have you in Los Angeles.
Oh, I definitely will let you know.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.